Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this video, we will learn how to find the frequency distribution of continuous data using Excel. Here we have a PDF file and we have a data, and we are interested to find the frequency distribution of this left side. First of all, I will copy it and paste it in the Excel sheet. So I paste it, and here you can see that it is not pasted in different cell, and it just go to the one columns. So I will separate each value in different cell. For this purpose, first of all we will select it, and then I will go to the data and go to text to the column, and then delimit it, and next. And here we can see that each value is separated with the spaces. So I click on space and finish it. And here you can see that all values goes to the different cells. And in the PDF file, we can see that we are interested only in the left side of the data, this data. So therefore I will delete the last 4 columns from the Excel sheet. So I delete it, and I will bring all the data in single column. So like this. Similarly, this one, and last one. In this way, I bring all the data in single columns. Now I deleted these cells, and here I already mentioned some of the basic information for frequency distribution. So first of all, there are 2 power k, where k is the number of classes. Similarly, class width means class interval. What is the class interval? Range, the maximum value minus minimum value, and minimum value of the data and maximum value of the data, number of data. So first of all, I will find the minimum of the data. So minimum of the data, for this purpose, I will select the range of all data. So these are the 70 values, and just close it. Before closing it, I will this selected data, I will fix it for the next values, next maximum values, and for fixing it, I just press the F4 from your keypad. No, first of all select the whole data and then press the F4. So it will be fixed for the remaining cells, and press F4. So this is fixed for the next maximum values of the data. So I close it, and this is 306, and which is also the first value and the minimum value of the whole data. Similarly, I just copied it in the front of a maximum, but here I will replace minimum to maximum and enter it, and the data is already selected from A1 to A70, because I already fix it using F4 key from the keypad. So I enter it, and 550 is the maximum of the data. Now we will find the number of data. So just again I copied it and instead of maximum I use count the data. So it counted that there are 70 values of the data, and then I will find the range of the data. So the range of the data will be maximum minus minimum. So this is minimum. The range is 244. Now I will find the number of classes. For the number of classes, just write to equal to 2 power k, and instead of k I just keep the value of this cell and enter it. So the result is 1, because here he consider it as 0 values. Now I put it 2, and you can see that there is 4. Then I will put it 3, and you can see that 2 power 3 is 8. Similarly, until the 70, the result of the 2 power k is 70 or more than 70. I will change the different values. So I just mention it 2 power 6. So it consider 2 power 6, which is 64, which is less than 70. Now I'll change it to the 7, and you can see that 128, which is greater than 70, and 2 power 6 is less than 70. So I will keep the number of classes equal to 7. The decided number of classes is 7. This is one way of deciding the number of classes, and there are some other ways to decide the number of classes by your expertise, and there are some other ways in which we can easily find the number of classes. Now we will find the class width. So the class width or class interval will be the range divided by number of classes. So I divide the range with the number of classes, and the number of classes is 7, and you can see that this is 34.85714, and this is a fractional value. So we will round down and then up to 0 and close it plus 1. So it will round down, means it will take the integer value of the fractional value, which is 34, and then just plus 1 to take the next higher value as a class width or class interval, and just enter it. So it will be 35. The class width is 35, the number of classes is 7, and the minimum value of the data is 306, the maximum value of the data is 570. Now I already mentioned some of the important things. One of them is class limits. So the minimum value or the minimum limit of the first class is the minimum value of the data, which is 306. Now I just add up lower limit of the first class, and I add up with interval of the frequency distributions. So the interval is 35. So I will press it and fix it for all remaining values by pressing F4 from the keyboard, and it is fixed. So I will enter it. So it becomes 341, and I will just copy it to the other values, and now I will count it. How many classes? 1 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we are already decided to make the 7 classes of the frequency distribution. Now the upper class limit will be 340 because it is the value which is less than the minimum value of the second class. So it will be 340, and then I will add up 340 with the class interval, and I will fix the class interval for all remaining values by pressing F4 and just enter. You can see that this is 375 and this is 376, the next value, and just I copied it for the other classes, and we have 550, and you can see that the maximum value is 550. So by chance this is 550, and it may take the value higher than this. And now I will find the frequency of the frequency table. So I will allocate the upper class limits from first to the second last. So I mention it, and 340 to 515, and I left it 550, the last upper class limit of the last class. Now I just press Control Shift and then enter, and you can see that all frequencies are mentioned in front of all class limits. So this is a frequency distribution. These are the class limits, lower class limit, upper class limits, and the frequency of 306 to 340 is 2. It means that in this data there are 2 values which are in between from 306 to 340, and there are 10 values from 341 to 375, and 22 values from 376 to 410, and 17 values from 411 to 445, and so on. And now I just sum up the whole values to see how many values, and you can see that sum of the frequencies is 70. So it's okay, we bring whole the data in the frequency distribution, all 70 values. Now how to find the midpoint? Just equal to, then bracket 306 plus this 340, and close it and divide it to 2. Now copied it to the remaining cells, and the midpoints are given here. Now we have to find the class boundaries. So first of all I will find what is the difference between the lower limit of the second class and the upper limit of the first class. I will take the difference and divide it by 2 and see what is the answer. So equal to 340 minus 341 minus 340 divided by 2, and you can see that this is 0.5. Whatever the answer is here, press this class limits, lower class limit of the first class, and then I will subtract it, this value, whatever this value is. It may be 0.05 or it may be 0.5 or 0.05 or 0.005, whatever it is, just I will subtract this value. So this value is 0.5, and this is our lower class boundary of the first class, and I will copy it, go to the corner and just keep it in the all cells. So this is the lower class boundary of all lower class limits. Now go to the first class of go to the upper class boundary of the first class, just equal to 340 plus 0.5 and enter it, and copied it to the remaining class boundaries. So these are the class boundaries of our frequency distributions. Now how to find the relative frequency? Just equal to the relative frequency. This is frequency, press it to and divide it to the 70 sum of the frequency and fix it for the remaining cells. How? By pressing the F4 from your keyboard. Just press it and it is fixed for the remaining values, and this is not fixed. I2, we have not fixed this I2, because when we copied it, so it will move down and it will pick this value, this value, this value, this value, this value, and this value. But when we fix it by pressing F4, the denominators, it will be constant for all remaining cells. So enter it, and this is the relative frequency of the first class. And now just copy it to the remaining cells. So these are the relative frequency. Now click it, right click and go to the format cell, and go to the number and keep it up to the 2 digit after the fractional, and you can see that 2 digit number is 0.03 and so on, and you can see that if we sum up the relative frequency, we will get 1. So this is the 1. In this way you can find the relative frequency of the frequency distribution. Now I will move to the cumulative frequency. How to find the cumulative frequency? Cumulative frequency for the first class is similar as the frequency. So this is our frequency, and in the next class I will just add the cumulative frequency of the previous class plus the frequency of the next class. So it will be 12 and so on. In this way you can find the cumulative frequency of the frequency distribution, and just select it and bring all values in the middle of the cells. So this is our frequency distribution, and in this way you can find the frequency distribution of continuous data, and midpoint, class boundaries, relative frequency, and cumulative frequency. I hope this video will be helpful for those students who want to learn frequency distribution in Excel. Thanks.